Good evening, and welcome to the old state capitol, a historic building that served as Kentucky's state capitol from 1830 to 1910. My name is Leah Craig. I am the Deputy Director at the Kentucky Historical Society. It's a privilege to have you here as we gather to celebrate America 250 Kentucky and Two Lights for Tomorrow. The Kentucky Historical Society is proud to serve as the state administrator for America 250, joining states across the nation in commemorating 250 years of American history since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. KHS is dedicated to increasing awareness of Kentucky's role in shaping this history through heritage tourism, education, local and statewide events, and legacy projects. We work to foster a sense of unity in our shared past. Tonight, we celebrate America 250 by participating in Two Lights for Tomorrow, a national initiative commemorating Paul Revere's famous ride in April 1775. In Kentucky, we also remember Jack Jouett, who is often called the Paul Revere of the South. A former Kentucky legislator and resident of Woodford County, Jouett traveled 40 miles through Virginia in 1781 to prevent British troops from capturing Thomas Jefferson and the Virginia General Assembly, ultimately saving 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. Before I wrap up, I want to recognize the members of the DAR that are here tonight. We appreciate your presence and support. I also want to thank all of the KHS staff who made this event possible. And thank you to you for taking the time to commemorate this special event. As we shine 2 lights tonight here at the Old State Capitol and in homes and organizations across Kentucky, we honor the service of both Paul Revere and Jack Jouett. Their actions, united by a common purpose, contributed to creating a more perfect union. At the Kentucky Historical Society, we use Kentucky history to meet the challenges of the future. Tonight, as we reflect on the legacies of Paul Revere and Jack Jouett, I encourage each of you to unite and take their spirit of service into your communities to make a difference. Thank you. Now, please join me in welcoming Regina Wink-Swingford from Franklin County Emergency Food Pantry, here to talk about the amazing work they are doing around the community, especially in light of the recent flood, and how you can take part. Regina?
Hello. For 44 years, the Emergency Community Food Pantry of Franklin County has been working hard to make sure that nobody in Frankfort or Franklin County goes to bed hungry. We have over 40 partner organizations that help us do that. In last year, we served 135,000 meals. We sent those out into the community. About a third of those meals went to feed children who are hungry. We send food out in a couple of different ways. If you do a standard order, families are able to get a week's worth of groceries to help them get through. Sometimes that allows them to cover a medical bill. Sometimes it just puts food on the table for that night. Another thing that we do is we provide immediate response bags. These are in the schools, they're at the health department, they're at the mission clinic, they're at Simon House, so that if a family or individual comes there and they have nothing in their house, they're going to leave with some food that'll carry them over for a couple of days. Now, as I mentioned, we sent out 135,000 meals last year, and that was without a historic flood. So this year, we are ramping up and expecting to be serving even more families. We hope that you'll help us, and if you're interested in volunteering or being involved in any way, you are more than welcome, because once again, it's completely run by volunteers, and we need everybody's help. Thank you so much.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please gather round. I have a brief story that I would like to share with you. Please allow me to introduce myself. Come forward, yes. My name is Jon Jouett, Jr., but you may call me Jack. And like Mr. Paul Revere, I made a ride that changed the course of history. You see, on the evening of June 3rd, 1781, I was visiting friends at the Cuckoo Tavern in Louisa, Virginia. Now, I was just 26 years old at the time, and a captain in the 16th Regiment of the Virginia Militia. The heat and humidity of the summer night led me to take my night's rest under a nearby tree. Around 10 o'clock, I was awakened by the sound of hoofbeats, and peering from around the tree, I saw nearly 250 men in green coats approaching. Now, the green coats were American Tories, whose allegiance was to the British. They were well known for their cruelty and led by the infamous Banastre Tarleton. Now, I quickly surmised their plan. They were riding to Charlottesville to capture Thomas Jefferson and the Virginia legislature. Now, if they succeeded, they no doubt would have taken Mr. Jefferson to Britain, put him on trial for treason, and hanged him as a traitor. A disastrous blow to the already fragile morale of the revolutionary cause. So, with no time to waste, I jumped on my horse Sally, well known as the fastest steed in 7 counties, and began the 40-mile ride to Charlottesville. Now, I knew if I were to make it to Jefferson's home, Monticello, before Tarleton's troops, I would be unable to ride on the well-established roads, as Mr. Revere did. So, riding through the wilderness on rough backwoods trails was the only option. Traveling by moonlight on the overgrown mountain road, my skin and clothes were torn by branches and briars, and I was even once thrown from Sally's back. I finally arrived at Monticello at 4:30 in the morning. Now, taking the back roads as I had, it gave Mr. Jefferson, his family, and the members of the legislature nearly 3 hours to prepare their escape. Now, Jefferson, he was not an easy man to ruffle, so he took the time to share a glass of his finest Madeira before he began to prepare his departure. And I must say, to this day, it is the finest wine I have ever had the pleasure to drink. Mr. Jefferson sent his wife and daughters to safety at a nearby plantation. And after taking the time to secure important valuables and papers, Mr. Jefferson made his way to his waiting horse and escaped, just as Tarleton's troops began to ascend the hill at Monticello. After a brief rest, I remounted my horse and made my way to my father's tavern, the Swan, where many of the legislators were staying. Thanks to my warning, all but 7 were able to make their escape over the Blue Ridge Mountains. 3 days later, the legislature reconvened and voted to present me with an elegant sword and a pair of pistols for my valuable service. Tarleton's failure to capture Jefferson and the Virginia legislature was a crushing blow to the British. Within a mere 4 months, Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown. The Americans were on the path to victory, and history was changed forever. Now, after the war, I left Albemarle County for Kentucky County, following Daniel Boone's trace and the Wilderness Road. The family of my childhood sweetheart, Sally, not to be confused with my horse, Sally, followed soon after, and we were married on August 12th of 1784. Sally and I became the parents of 12 children, including renowned portrait painter Matthew Harris Jouett. Matthew studied law at Transylvania University, but despite my best efforts to turn him into a lawyer, he chose life as an artist. And I now admit, I must say, a very excellent one. I began my political career as a delegate to the Virginia legislature, as at this time, Kentucky was still part of Virginia. I advocated for Kentucky's statehood at the Separation Convention held in Danville, Kentucky in 1788. And after Kentucky won its statehood in 1792, I served 4 terms in the Kentucky House of Representatives. However, politics, that was just a part-time pursuit for me. You see, by 1793, I owned hundreds of acres of land for farming. Hemp, tobacco, corn, grain, other crops. I operated a distillery and was well known for the breeding of fine cattle and horses. And finally, in 1797, our family moved to a new home, a home that still stands in beautiful Woodford County. Thanks to the efforts of the Woodford County Fiscal Court and the Woodford County Heritage Committee, you can still visit my restored home today. The restoration of these buildings, now over 200 years old, allows you a glimpse into life on the Kentucky frontier. In fact, I would like to invite all of you to join us tomorrow, Saturday, April 19th at 2 p.m. at the Jack Jouett House Historic Site for our season's grand reopening celebration. And now, after recalling my memories of that famous night nearly 250 years ago, I ask my fellow Kentuckians to light the 2 lights, huh? Huzzah! Yes. These twin lights symbolize the signal from the Old North Church in Boston on this night nearly 250 years ago that spurred Paul Revere and other messengers into action. And as a Kentuckian, these lights remind me of my own midnight ride and the call to service both I and Paul Revere felt towards our fellow Americans. And now I call upon all of you to serve your fellow Kentuckians. Go forth and seek out ways to serve in your own communities. Huzzah! Thank you for your time this evening. A gracious good night. Yes.
Well, may we give Mr. Jouett another round of applause, please? So thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you, Mr. Jouett, for sharing your story and lighting our way towards a more perfect union. My name is Ashley Spinneberg Perkins, and I am the America 250 Kentucky Commission Administrator at the Kentucky Historical Society. I help plan events and activities and coordinate the 250th with our Kentucky communities, all of you lovely people. Actually, can we get a shout out? What are some of the communities here tonight? What counties? Carroll, welcome Carroll. Who else? Clark? Woodford, Jouett's home. Jefferson, woo! All right. Lincoln? Very nice. It is my pleasure to be here with all of you tonight and sharing the same guiding light with all of you. I seriously thank each and every one of you for showing your love and support for your communities tonight and for the 250th. If this is your first introduction to what America 250 Kentucky is, then I give you a warm welcome. Everyone across the Commonwealth can get involved with America 250 Kentucky. The best way is to form a local 250 committee, which many of you here have done. We have resources available online at the Kentucky Historical Society's website to help you form a local 250 group. Your 250 group can be a city, a county-wide commission, a group at your local library, or even an interested group at your local school. It can be as large or as small as you like for whatever best suits your community. 2 years ago, 2 Lights for Tomorrow was born of a grassroots initiative between the states at a common cause to all, a planning conference in Virginia for the 250th. And while I was not there during the initial spark of creative thought, I am delighted to be a part of its development and execution today. Just like here in Frankfort, communities across the nation are hosting their own 2 Lights for Tomorrow ceremonies across the nation. Tomorrow, I encourage all of you to look at other states and other national sites that are commemorating 2 Lights for Tomorrow. Each of their states took the concepts of 2 lights of service and ran with it. They made it their own, like we are doing tonight with Mr. Jack Jouett. 2 Lights serves as a reminder of our uniqueness as states and communities, while still uniting us as one people, we the people. At the heart of this nationwide event is service. Service to our communities across the Commonwealth has never been more important than it is today. A little over a week ago, floods greatly impacted our neighborhoods in our state, many of the places that we currently live. Whether you're a native Kentuckian or making the Bluegrass your new Kentucky home, our communities are places of belonging, where one can find support through a united community. The theme of unity is nothing new. It's a core part of Two Lights for Tomorrow, an integral part of Kentucky 250. Over 250 years ago, indigenous communities already living in what would be Kentucky were united in protecting their home fronts, as were many frontier families immigrating across the Allegheny Mountains in search of opportunity, many of the DAR folks. During the American Revolution, colonists were united in a common cause for independence and liberty. The pack horse librarians of the 1930s and 40s were united in bringing books to eastern Kentucky. Today, the theme of unity, as the Commonwealth has seen this past week with the flood, continues and does not end tonight. Tomorrow is a national day of service for Two Lights for Tomorrow. Tomorrow and beyond, I encourage you to find a way to serve in your communities, to spread fellowship and love. Your act of service can be a food drive, as we have here tonight, a park cleanup, or even writing thank you letters to teachers, firefighters, and other service members in your community. I will say the wonderful and passionate educators at the Kentucky Historical Society have made it a little bit easy for educators. They've developed a K-2 learning experience to teach young Kentuckians about service and caring for others. So this is a great place to start for Two Lights for educators. The learning experience is themed around the pack horse librarians of the 1930s and 40s, and also takes inspiration from Jouett and Revere, who both were riding horses during their times of service. So that information is available on our website. Just a quick plug there. So Two Lights for Tomorrow is also our opportunity to embody a shining light in the darkness, as these two lights here are warming up, to come together as one for a common cause, and to be something together as those of the Revolution have done. Let's not stop tonight in uniting for a common cause, but carry the spirit of service forward throughout our weeks, throughout our lives. Two Lights for Tomorrow is the beginning and not the end. Thank you.